Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, Heal Live to Rise. My name is Carla. Thank you all so very much for joining me here. Truly appreciate every single one of you, all of your love, support, and kindness to the channel. I wanted to share a message today that I have wanted to do this video, share this message for a little while. You guys kind of know how I work, where like I will receive like downloads, channeled like messages. Sometimes I put it in my phone and I kind of forget about it, or I write it down and I set it aside. But this was an interesting message and I felt like it was something that is good, could be beneficial for people, help in some kind of way. But this message that came through, and it literally came out of nowhere. This is kind of like how the messages work. For me, it just comes out of nowhere, and felt it was interesting to share. You are your own greatest source of happiness, and if you can't learn to cultivate that, starting from within, nothing outside of you that you have will ever make you happy. It will never ever feel like enough. That message came through on February 22nd, 2026, kind of synchronistic with the 22222 angel number in that. So that was kind of interesting. But I really felt like it was highlighting that, you know, if we can't learn to be happy within ourselves, then nothing we receive externally, nothing we have, nothing we're given, like to us, whatever, nothing we achieve will ever make us happy if we can't start being happy, cultivating that, and just being happy inside of ourselves first. I felt that was really important, really kind of powerful, very random. Like I said, it just kind of came through. So, but when I get these messages and I write them down, I also reflect on it for my own reality, my own world. And, you know, I have realized that people can add to your happiness. People can definitely bring you, you know, happiness. They can add to it, but they cannot be the source of your happiness. They can't be the end all be all, because it will never work out. It just will never, you'll never be happy. You can't give away your power like that and think that one person, or anybody, any group of people or anything, anyone can be your source of happiness. Because as you all know, the way the world works, the way people work, people let you down. You know, things happen and people are their own people. So, you know, to even have that kind of expectation and put that kind of pressure on somebody to, you know, make them think they have to make you happy is entirely very, like, a heavy weight to carry. It's like a burden. So, you know, it's important to be happy within yourself. And what does that look like? What does that mean? It means to take notice of the things that make you happy and to appreciate your life, what you have in your life, the things that make you excited and make you really want to get out of bed every morning. Like, what are your joys? Kind of like fostering your, fostering your inner child. Like doing creative things, being very creative, and you know, letting that kind of lead the way. Because I feel, based on my own experience, like when you're really creative, when you allow yourself to be creative and like do fun things, creative things, whatever that looks like for you, I've noticed like I'm a much happier person. I feel good. and it's just like it's just natural. It's just this natural feeling, because I'm allowing myself to be expressive and to express myself as I, feel necessary, um, you know, without restricting myself, holding myself back from being expressive and creative, in the way that my soul wants to create. And it's kind of funny because in so many different ways we're creative, and creativity works through us in, like I said, so many different ways. For some of us, we also like to be self-expressive and like wear like certain clothes that make us feel good. Maybe they're like, a certain color, a certain look, certain style. Maybe we like to do our hair a certain way, or even like color our hair, and that in itself can be very like self-expressive too. I was at the store like about an hour ago, and there's a girl there that was helping me with some products I was buying, and it was funny because I recognized her, but then I was like, wait, is that the same girl that she must have done something to her hair? And so I told this girl, I complimented her because her hair looked really good. I was like, oh, I love what you did to your hair. I was like, were you a blonde? I said, because I could have sworn you look like this other girl that worked here. She was blonde. And she was like, yeah, I used to be blonde. That was me. She's like, I love dyeing my hair, coloring my hair. And I was like, oh, that is so awesome. And again, that's like another way to be self-expressive. And I kind of told her, I was like, yeah, I've been wanting to color my hair for a while, but like I'm a little nervous about it. And I was like, I don't know, I just haven't done it. And she was like, oh, she's like, you should. She's like, I've gone every color. She's like, I've done purple, I've done blue, blah, 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 blah. Right? I was like, that's so cool. I was like, honestly, it's a way of self-expression and art, it's like being creative. So I thought that was really awesome. And that kind of ties into it in itself too, although I know it's not as like deeper, not as deeper as like when you're singing, when you're making music, when you're making art, when you're like drawing, painting, sculpting something, building something, playing instruments or whatever. Like, there's always like deeper aspects of art, of our creative process. But I felt like this message was like important to share, and to really highlight and understand that, I think especially on this journey where we're we're learning to tap into our own inner guidance, learning to trust our inner guidance, being aligned and in tuned, and learning to understand that, our joy and what makes us really happy, like what we're most happy doing, is what's going to lead the way for our lives. And to me, happiness is success. And, and I've said this several times, like, I don't care about my children being successful in terms of being, really well known or famous or making a lot of money or whatever, having a certain high class position or like, position of authority that's like, oh, this is great, they have this title, they have this position. None of those things matter to me. What matters to me is that my kids are happy, that they will be happy in whatever they choose to do. Because honestly, life is way too short to, think that we need to achieve all these things in order to be happy. Like, just be happy. Just be happy. And it's so simple, yet we make it so complicated. We overcomplicate it, and then we get sucked into the way society kind of projects like what happiness and success is. Like, I really feel like it's an inner it's an inner cultivation. Because I feel like when you feel truly happy and you're really enjoying life, because you are in alignment, because you choose to follow your joy, you choose to create and do as you please. I don't know, I just feel like when you're in that alignment, like, you really can achieve true happiness. But I believe it's also the energy you put into it. It's like what you're putting into creating that happiness and how you're viewing life. So like the lens you look at life through, your perspective, and how you're seeing your life play out. And the world, like, you know, the reality. Because I feel like the way you see the world, your perspective, is what kind of changes and shapes your reality and your experience of reality. You know, if somebody, for example, if somebody has like a negative perspective about life, and if somebody sees the world as just like a terrible place and there's all these bad things, and, you know, all these bad things can always happen, and they're just overly cautious and overly worried all the time, right? Then they're like running off of survival mode. They're running in fear mode, fear energy, and that creates their reality. They are going to experience more problems, more reasons to worry. Vice, if they were to see the world as, you know, for what it is, and understand that, you know, there are so many beautiful, amazing things about our world, and so many good things that do happen and that go on. And some of these things never make it to, you know, the media or to TV, and some of the things we never hear about. I feel personally, some of the greatest teachers have never and probably will never be on social media, you know, because they live their life in a way that they really walk their talk, and they really are about helping people and being out in the world, and less in, you know, the tech world. And, you know, they're not about chasing the views and the subscribers or whatever. They're about, you know, reaching the people where they can out in the world, and getting their message that way. So I kind of just lost where I was, like, what I was gonna say, but that's why it's important to cultivate happiness from within, to understand that you decide, you choose, and you create that for yourself always. And like I said, people can add to it, but nobody can be like the source of your entire happiness. And I've learned that a long time ago on my journey. I shouldn't say a long time ago, but in the recent years, like within the last like 5 years, 6 years, yeah. That is something that I've had to always remember. And also because you can't control how everything goes, and whatever people do, and whatever people decide, and how somebody else lives their life, what they do. You can only kind of control what you do, and what you're bringing to the table, and what you're creating, and your energy, your intention. Like, you can focus on that and somewhat, to a degree, have control over that, but you can't control the world. You can't control the narrative of what everybody is thinking and doing and being like. So to even place your happiness on other people is like, it's just a recipe for disaster, is what I'm hearing. A recipe for disaster, because you will be sadly just disappointed. It'll lead to disappointment, because you will realize that it always started with you. You know, happiness starts with you. And I also okay, this is what I wanted. Okay, it came back. This is really kind of what I wanted to share also, is that the universe, like, you go through this journey, you go through these experiences, these lessons, and it's there to, like, prepare you for being able to receive all of the abundance and blessings and the things that, you know, you might be guided, experiences, opportunities you might be guided to on your journey. You will be able to hold it and appreciate it more if you are happy within yourself first. And you, I'm sure, can see, just based on observation and seeing other people's realities, right? People on the world stage, that there are people that are rich, like really wealthy in terms of money, and they're so unhappy. They're so run by power, by greed, by like authoritarian kind of energy. I don't know if I said that word right. But you can just tell, and you can feel their energy. They're just unhappy. They're completely unhappy, but they're run off of control, power, greed, and more money, which is what they're chasing, what they're after, what they're trying to consume more of, control, whatever. It's like, it doesn't make them happy, and they will never be happy. They will never be happy, because they can't even be happy within themselves. They're not happy within themselves. I truly feel like people that are happy within themselves they know they don't need to do that. There's no reason necessary for them to do that. Like, they know they don't need to force, they don't need to be greedy, they don't need to control anything, because they have a good relationship with money, because it's energy internally. And I truly feel like abundance in itself, which is in so many different forms, right? Because abundance, wealth can be not just money, it could be abundance, wealth, and health. But it's an energy, and it's, if you cultivate that within yourself first, feeling rich inside of yourself, right? You can materialize that into your reality. But it's based on your relationship with money and how you feel about it, which is what creates your reality. And giving you a little example, and this is not to judge or anything like that. This is just giving you a clear example, okay? And this is something that you see in movies and stuff all the time. You probably see it in your own reality. You probably know somebody that has had this experience. But there's a person I know in particular that doesn't have a good relationship with money. That's their own choice. That's their own journey. And they see money as a means to an end, and they're like in scarcity mindset. And so they don't give a lot. They don't give a lot. And there's nothing wrong with that as far as them not giving a lot. But because they're in a lack state, because they feel scarce, they feel they lack, and they feel lack with money, they never have enough money. And they always, I shouldn't say they, I mean, it could be they, but it's mostly, said person and their partner, whoever. They don't have enough money, and they always talk about how they don't have enough money. They always highlight that, and they always talk about the problems that they have with money. That's how they are viewing money and their relationship with money. They talk about it and see it in a negative aspect, as in like a terms of lack. But guess what? That is what they experience because of their lens, because of their focus. That's what they experience. They experience lack because of the way they're viewing their relationship with money. And it really is just a shift in how you feel about it, how you feel about money. And when you feel good about it and you know and believe you are abundant and you're rich inside of you, you will overflow because you just naturally feel it. You feel good to give money and you will give freely with no worries and no care. You feel it, you feel good, and you give it, and it comes back to you tenfold. You know, it's not a math. I mean, maybe it is like a science to this, but it's just energy, and it's the way we see it, the way we see this world, the way we cultivate it within us. It's the same kind of thing with happiness. You know, everything starting from within us, you know, energy starting from within, and then that exudes outwards. But I felt like sharing this message, and I know I kind of went a different direction and gave that example with money, but that was another like highlight to help you or help anybody. Maybe somebody in your reality could even use that information, but to give you like a true perspective on why, you know, people have certain situations, experience certain things because of what they've cultivated within, what they create, the stories that they tell themselves, the narrative that they're believing. Your beliefs create your reality. If you believe that you lack, then you will lack. You believe you'll never have enough, you'll never have enough. You know, it's always, there's that famous quote that said, like, if you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're right. I don't know who said that quote, but I know it's a famous quote. That kind of came to me now. But it's like the same thing. It's like whatever you're believing in is going to create that reality for you. So be careful of what you believe, because it's creating your reality, always. People don't understand this, but we're always manifesting. We're always manifesting and creating our reality. So it's important to pay attention to what you are focusing on, what you're putting out there. So then you can be mindful and be direct, intentional with your manifestations and focusing on only what you want, only what you are truly believing in. So then you can receive that. But anyways, I wanted to share this message. I hope in some way this helped you, uplifted you, gave you a different perspective. And until next time, friends, take very good care. I love you all so much. Bye for now.